Hello there, Lunar Squadron. Welcome back to the channel. We are about 2 months out from the Game Awards, which means that we have a very important question to start thinking about. Will LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga be at the Game Awards, and what should we expect from them if they are? We'll get into that question and more in this video.
Now, before we get started, do you have a Wookiee problem in your life? Perhaps a walking carpet issue that won't go away? Then look no further than our official sponsor, Bosk. And now, a brief message.
Your death will bring great profit.
Thanks, Bosk. Now let's get into the video. So it's been a little over a month since we've last formally heard from TT Games with their Gamescom trailer. Now, with the Game Awards coming up in about 2 months' time, what are we thinking? Like, when is the next time we're going to hear from this studio? I mean, everybody's kind of waiting with bated breath to see what they've got going on, right?
Yeah, so this past week, the Game Awards were officially announced to be held on December 9th. In Los Angeles, so that got us thinking about the Game Awards and whether or not LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga should or will be at the event. Now, when you take a look back at Gamescom, which was the last event that LEGO Star Wars was at, it was hosted by Geoff Keighley. Now, the Game Awards is yet another event that is hosted and put on by Geoff Keighley. So there is some precedent in the past for TT Games and WB Games showing up at these Geoff Keighley events. As far as Warner Brother Games goes, Back 4 Blood was officially revealed at the Game Awards, so there is a history between these two companies showing up at this event. Now, should LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga be at the Game Awards? In my opinion, Andreas, I think it should be. If this game is truly committed to coming out in the spring of 2022, which, again, we don't know that because we thought they were committed to the spring of 2021 last year. But if they are truly committed to the spring of 2022, it is time to start hyping up the game. It is time to start doing marketing. I know that is something that they're not very good at, but it is time to start doing that. We're not saying another release date, but, some extended gameplay would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And, I think you're totally hitting the nail on the head there with Warner Brother Games being, or at least having a history of being at the Game Awards. If you guys remember, like Nick said, back in December of 2020, they revealed Back 4 Blood at the Game Awards. So they're just known to be there, and it would make sense. Like they've done in the past. You can generate hype now. I know you're trying to answer the question of should they be there? I think that question kind of hinges on how ready are they? And I would really hope they would be ready to show something more concrete, given that the Game Awards is about 6 months out from the end of spring, which is their launch window. So if they really are going to hold their promise of being, totally done with their game by the end of spring 2022, then it only makes sense that they should have something presentable finally after years of working on this game, 6 months before anticipated release by the Game Awards. So, assuming that they have something ready, given that they're 6 months out, or better, right? It could be the beginning of spring, but knowing them, it's probably the end. Since they're going to be 6 months out, should they? I think they'd be dumb not to, honestly. Just assuming that they have something showable, which they better at that point, they've got to show it at this thing. Show some gameplay, get people hyped, calm some nerves down for the doubters out there, and just kind of put things out. But I guess now's the more important question. I think it's clear that they should be there, but do we think that's realistic?
There are a couple issues with whether or not LEGO Star Wars will be at the Game Awards. Most notably, just what usually the show is like, what the showcase usually is. It is the Game Awards, so the main focus of the event is to award games for Best Game of the Year, Best Original Score, all of that kind of stuff, Best Acting. So the focus of the event is not to show off games like an E3 or Gamescom is. It is to present awards and hand out awards for the previous year's video games. But they do some worldwide reveals, and that's the other issue with it, is usually the focus is more on these worldwide reveals. I'm not sure if they are going to carve out time for there to be more extended looks at already previously announced games, because that is exactly what I think Lego Star Wars needs. We don't need another gameplay trailer. I don't even want a release date. I mean, obviously I want a release date, but there doesn't need to be a release date. But if you think back to Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, like we were talking about earlier, Andreas, there was extended gameplay shown weeks before the game was released, months before the game was released. They sat down and released an extended look at gameplay. And if you remember, when it comes to Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, I know they've called them gameplay trailers, but they're not gameplay trailers. They're pre-rendered CGI looks at the game and cutscenes. We have not seen true gameplay from Lego Star Wars. And that is what I think needs to be shown. And I think an event like the Game Awards, the last major gaming event before next year, is the place to do it. It makes a ton of sense. You'll get a ton of eyes on it, a ton of hype. It just makes a lot of sense to me. But will they do it? I don't know. There's some precedent for these companies being at these events hosted by Geoff Keighley, at these major events, but I don't know if the Game Awards is the right event for it.
Yeah, honestly, Nick, I think you've kind of convinced me a little bit with your statement that the Game Awards are usually these shorter announcements. That's totally true. Even the Back for Blood announcement, which is the one that Warner Brother Games had to have greenlighted, was a 2-minute demonstration. If we're looking at release date reveals, if you're hopeful for a release date reveal, that would be, a shorter look. For example, Sea of Thieves got their release date trailer back in the Game Awards 2017, that being a 1-minute thing. So I think if anything, it's going to be a release date announcement, but I'm honestly just unsure if, in August, if they're unsure of a release date, then what really changed in, a few months? Could they be ready by then? Maybe, but does it seem like the type of thing that TT Games would do? And that I'm not so sure. I think if we're looking or hoping for an extended gameplay demo, Nick, you were talking about The Force Awakens. Totally right. The Force Awakens, over a month before, had a inside scoop with IGN where they had a dev actually sitting down with undoctored, untailored footage of the gameplay. Just 8 minutes, just cold and hard, what the game looks like. The game then came out in June. So, late June, I might add. I kind of see that happening here. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a gameplay look, or at least an extended gameplay look. Maybe even not even a release date until May the 4th. And then we're going to get that game release in late June. If I had to bet on it, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I know that seems a little grim, but honestly, it just seems a little too good to be true to get some real substance at the Game Awards this time around.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The last two things I want to say is, if the game is indeed at the Game Awards, history tells us that it's not something we're going to know about until literally the week before the event. Look at the way they've handled Gamescom the last few times. They literally announced it, 2 days the night before. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to know until probably December whether or not Lego Star Wars has any intentions of being at the Game Awards. And second, your point about May the 4th, I agree with that 100%. Personally, I think May the 4th will be the next time we get major news about Lego Star Wars. I think what we wanted earlier this year, them showing up on May the 4th, is what's going to happen next year, assuming the game is on track for that spring 2022 release. So I don't think they'll be at the Game Awards. They could surprise us. We kind of didn't think they were going to be at Gamescom, and then we were kind of teetering on it, and they surprised us. So they could surprise us. It is the last major gaming event of the year, so that is why it is important. But I'm thinking next May, like you said, will probably be the most likely scenario.
Yeah, it's a little grim, guys, but you never know. I mean, we just don't want to promise anything or get anybody's hopes up. That said, let us know what you all are thinking in the comments down below. Are you set on the Game Awards? Is your money on this conference as being the place, the forum for this thing to just go down, release dates come out, extended gameplay, interrupting all those trophies being given out to Deathloop and whoever made a good game this year? Maybe, hell, Ratchet and Clank should win some awards, right?
Returnal? Any Sony studio?
Returnal? Yeah, honestly.
Sony killed it
was
this year.
Yeah, they were killing it this year. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. Guys, feel free to subscribe to the channel. You're all welcome to enlist in the Lunar Squadron. All you gotta do, hit the little red button and the subscriber bell right on next to it. It's gonna let you know whatever we upload. That's gonna do it for today, and we will see you all next time.